Here's something I figured out standing on a fairway that took me years to learn in the boardroom. The harder you swing, the worse it often gets. So I've been playing golf almost my entire life, and the one thing the game will punish you for every single time, without fail, is trying too hard. You tighten up your grip, you over-rotate, you try to muscle the ball an extra 30 yards, and it goes sideways, or you scull it, and you may end up in the trees or in a bunker. Every golfer knows this, and yet we keep doing it. And I did the same thing in business for years. When I was building my IT consulting firm, there were deals I wanted badly. There were prospects I was chasing, services I was tempted to offer just to win a contract, even when I knew they were outside of our wheelhouse and what we were actually good at. And every time I tried to force it, every time I tried to manufacture an outcome instead of just doing the work, something went sideways. The irony is that the periods where we grew the most, where things just clicked, where clients stayed and referrals often came in and revenue was actually predictable, were the periods where I just played the fairway. I did the basics. I followed up consistently. We delivered what we said we'd deliver. We made logical decisions instead of emotional ones. No tricks here, no forcing, just the basics, just the fundamentals. And here's where I made my mistake, and I see it constantly in owners I talk to now. We convince ourselves that hustle is the answer, that if we're not grinding harder, chasing more aggressively, saying yes to every single opportunity, we're leaving money on the table. So we swing for the fences on deals that aren't a great fit. We try to stretch our service stack into areas where we don't have the expertise. We often push a prospect through a sales process before they're actually ready to buy. And what happens? The deal either falls apart or it closes and turns into a nightmare client or nightmare project because we forced it. I had a prospect years into running our business. It was a mid-sized manufacturing company that wanted outsourced IT, but they also wanted custom software development, which really wasn't our wheelhouse. Close, but not that close. Instead of walking away, I told them we'd figure it out. We'd find a partner, we'd make it work. We ended up winning the contract, and then we spent a number of months in a bit of a death spiral trying to deliver on a scope we should have never accepted. It was beyond our skill set. We didn't know how to properly scope it. And what I didn't realize is that in that moment of saying yes to the wrong thing, it doesn't just cost you that engagement and that relationship. It costs you the capacity you needed to serve the right clients well with the expertise you have. So here's what I should have done, and it's embarrassingly simple. Qualified the opportunity against what we actually do well, said that piece isn't us, here's what we're excellent at, and here's where the value is. Let the prospect then decide if that's enough. If it wasn't, then walk away cleanly. The clients we retained longest, the ones who referred other clients, the ones who made up the foundation of what we eventually sold, those were clients who were a clean fit for what we did. No stretching, no compromises in the services model. And if I had treated every sales conversation the way a good golfer treats a difficult lie, assess the lie honestly, play the shot you can actually execute with the least amount of risk, and don't try to be a hero, our growth would have been cleaner, less firefighting, better margins, and honestly, more deals because we'd have had the bandwidth to pursue the right deals instead of servicing the wrong ones. The parallel is almost too clean. In golf, if you don't grip tighter when you're struggling, you slow down, You go back to fundamentals. You trust the process you've practiced. In business, when things aren't working, the instinct is to push harder, to do more, add services, drop prices, chase harder, hustle more. And that's usually exactly the wrong move. The business I had sold in 2018, 8-figure exit, awesome. And when I look back at what made it saleable, what made the EBITDA real and defensible and attractive to a buyer, it wasn't the deals we forced. It was the ones we earned through consistency. It was the systems we built, the service delivery model we had refined and I'd say perfected, the client relationships that were low drama because we'd been honest about what we were from the start. Those messy engagements, the stretched scopes, the clients we took on because we needed the revenue in a slow quarter, those didn't show up in the valuation. They actually showed up in the cost of delivery. They were margin killers dressed up as opportunities. The real cost of forcing wasn't just those engagements themselves. It was the opportunity cost of the capacity they consumed. Capacity that we could have used and harnessed and gone toward better clients, better service, a tighter operation. So the principle I carry forward from both the fairway and golf and the boardroom is this: effort and outcome are not the same thing. Working harder on the wrong thing doesn't produce the right result. It just produces a worse version of the wrong result faster. The best golfers in the world don't look like they're trying that hard. That's not a coincidence. They've put in the reps. They trust their swing. And on the course, they play within themselves. They don't swing for the distance they don't have. They make the right call on every shot based on what's actually in front of them. MSP and consulting business owners that I've seen build and sell great companies do the same thing. They're not the ones running the hardest or chasing the most. They're the ones who figured out their lane, built repeatable delivery inside that lane, and stayed consistent through the slow quarters and let the compounding do the work. There are two things I tell anyone building a services business right now. The first, figure out and define your wheelhouse and protect it like it's your most valuable asset, because ultimately it is. And second, follow up relentlessly. Deliver on what you commit to and make logical decisions instead of emotional ones. That's the whole game. It's not complicated. It's just hard to stay disciplined when you're scared or hungry. But play the fairway, trust the process and the fundamentals. And I can tell you, from my experience, the results will come. If this resonated, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe on the channel. It genuinely helps the channel reach more people like you, MSP and consulting services owners, IT consultants who could use a straight talking perspective on building their business. Welcome to Self-Made Strategy. My name's Rory McCaw. I started in 2001 an IT services company. We were a fairly large Microsoft partner. I built it, I struggled along the way, and sold it for 8 figures in 2018. And I'm here to share my expertise, tips, tricks with you to hopefully allow you to accomplish a lot more and be way more successful than I am in a shorter period of time. If you like the content, join the journey, follow along. We'll talk to you soon.